Hello and welcome. So in this video, we will be speaking about how to deploy your Node.js application to Elastic Beanstalk and with the help of Codepipeline. So there's proper continuous integration and continuous development. So CI/CD setup. So it will be very easy. I will go through each and every step. But before I always start my video, I always ask you guys to support me and join my community on nas.io/superprogrammers community. You will get a fully fledged course on AWS, and not only that, you will also have live events. We can hang out with other developers on my Discord community, and you can get all sorts of courses on Cypress, on WhatsApp WebJS, on Android app development, Tree.js, essentially everything that you can get in order to become a software engineer. So without further ado, let's get started. So now, if you can see this is my AWS. Of course, this, just so you know, this will definitely cost you if you're just trying to learn or something like that. So what we will do is that we'll create an Elastic Beanstalk environment. So just go to Elastic Beanstalk, and let me tell you, when we are creating this application, right? So this application will be very scalable. You can set up things as I show you, and I'm telling you it'll be a very good application. So but before I create an Elastic Beanstalk, let me go to GitHub. Let's create a new repository. The repository name would be Node.js Express Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, EB. Let me just write EB. I think Elastic Beanstalk is very big. Anyways, so if you can see, oops, yeah, I am gonna write get ignored as node. Okay, I don't care about the license. And also, just so you know, all of my GitHub links will be on my community. I will be giving a discount. It's $4. So you guys, perhaps if you get if you get the link from my description, you will get a 50% discount on that. So anyways, moving forward, like I have deployed this. So let me open up this in VS Code. Okay, and I am gonna quickly restructure a little bit. Okay, so now if you can see, I have my terminal. So on my terminal, I am gonna do npm init, and the package name is this, version is 1.1. This is for Elastic Beanstalk deployment. Okay, entry point will be index.js. The Git repository, I'm going to ignore this. Author Muhammad Khan. Yep. And license, yeah, there you go. This is fine. So if you can see, a new file has been created called package.json for me. And if you can see, the entry point was index.js. So I'm gonna go index.js, and I will set this up to Node JavaScript. Actually, Apple JavaScript. I think I will just keep with React just so I don't mess up my stuff. I mean, this is my own configuration. You can use whatever you want. Anyways, moving forward, since I have GitHub Copilot installed, I am gonna quickly, before I move forward, I just need to install npm express, mongoose. I think express would be just fine. npm express. Yeah, I think it's gonna take a while. There you go. Well, const, let me just use npm list. So my current version is Node 14. Okay, just make sure that, or else let me just do it on my well, never mind, doesn't really matter. So now let's do const express is equals to require express. I am gonna zoom in a little bit so that you would just see this, and I'm gonna write express over here, and I will create a default route which will just not do anything, and it will just essentially give you a proper environment over here, like res.send status 200 and send hello world. So this will essentially send a hello world, and I'm gonna do app.listen. So it's a very basic Express application. You can move forward this part if you want to. I'm gonna write console.log server is running 3000, and I am just gonna write node index.js. The server is running on 3000 port. If I open my so localhost 3000, there you go. I don't know if you guys can see, but you guys can see this hello world which I'm sending. All right. Okay, cool. So this is our React application. I am just gonna write, like hello initial commit for express.js. Okay, there you go. Publish repository. So it's gonna go to my GitHub account, and then I am gonna go to Firefox where my AWS has been set up. I'm gonna create a Elastic Beanstalk, and I'm gonna give the application as Express application example. Okay, and you can give a domain if you want to, but you can set it up using Route 53, but you can just leave it blank, and if you want some value you can just write some value over here. Anyways, you have to choose, you don't have to choose custom platform, you just have to choose manage platform and choose a platform over here, and you can choose .NET, Java, Go, whatever that you are actually deploying. I'm gonna choose Node.js. There are different Node.js versions. Since our application is on 6.14, we'll use 14. We can use 16. Ideally you should use 16. I mean, right now in 2023 I think 16 is fine, but then LTS version is also 18 as far as I know. So I mean, it's up to you. Okay, platform version is this, that's recommended. Right now I'm just gonna deploy with sample application. Before I choose the single instances, I'm gonna use custom configuration just so that I explain each and every configuration to you on what is what. So these are the roles. You don't have to touch anything over here. It's just keep everything empty. You don't have to choose a different role. It will just automatically configure for you. So there's automatically a role called AWS Elastic Beanstalk Service role, which is created by AWS for Elastic Beanstalk environments. Okay, so don't have to do anything over here, and press next. Okay, and then it is asking you to choose a virtual private cloud. I'm gonna choose my own virtual private cloud, or you can just leave to we'll just create a new virtual private cloud. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it as empty, and you can just move forward over here. And if you're using virtual private cloud, your own virtual private cloud, you can just, my subnets are just public, but you can just leave it in this way. Anyways, let me just move forward and press next. There you go. And I am not gonna do anything over here. I am just gonna move forward because I do not want the root volume to have a provisional IOPS. I just need to be a container default, which is by default 8 GB of size to each instance, and input output per second will be 100. And throughput will be 125 MIBS. Okay, so that will be that thing. And then here is the exciting part, which you just need to choose if you want your application to scale based on your traffic, you just need to change the environment type to load balance, and then you can set the minimum instances and maximum instances. And if your website has a lot of traffic, you can make it 100, or you can set the minimum instance to 5, and it's completely dependent upon your application. Here I'm gonna go one by one because this is a tutorial. I do not need to. I'll just terminate after this tutorial. Anyways, and after that, ARM architecture would be x86, and yeah, these are Graviton processors, but just choose this one. Okay, so this is T3 micro. So if you see, there are other ones, powerful ones, M5, R5. So I will post a link in the description on type of instances like you can essentially get. I mean, we'll just have the information on what should be used for what. Anyways, so you can choose. By default it's T3 micro, T3 small. I believe these are the free tier ones, so I'm going to use that. And here is a scaling trigger. This is a very important part, guys. So so what happens is that most of the times your instances your instances will your instance CPU utilization goes up to like 50, 60, 70%, and then you're essentially, your instance won't be able to respond anything. So in that case, what you have to do is that you need to use CPU utilization, and based on maximum, so when should our system scale? So if you see over here, I have given the minimum instances to 1 and 1. Suppose if you are given 100, then when should it actually move forward? Like when should it actually scale, like add more instances like 2, 3, 4, 500? When should it do that? So you choose the CPU utilization option. So when we choose the CPU utilization option, when should it do? Like choose how the metric is interpreted. So maximum. So whenever there's a quick bump in the CPU, we just have to change. We have to essentially that is when we want to deploy more instances. And the unit would be %, and period will be the period between metric evaluation. So after deploying one more instance, it will wait for 5 minutes. Essentially it's like 2 minutes is like a good number. And you need to add an upper threshold. Like upper threshold is like when should it actually add a new instance. So when it's 60%, you should add a new instance. When it's down to 40%, it should lower. Okay, so that's what this scale up and scale down is. And you can use a shared load balancer. Or you can just use you can click on load balancers over here. Oops, what's happening? Oh wow, something's messed up. Anyways, so if you can see over here, I am gonna move forward. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So let me just reload. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see over here, something's wrong with my keyboard. Anyways, so if you can see, I'm just gonna choose dedicated over here, and I am gonna choose move forward, and I'm gonna press next, and I will be moving forward to just essentially do everything. Just keep everything as is. You don't have to choose anything over here. Just press next. Yup, and just it's a review stage. Just review and press submit. So it should essentially start an application for you. You will see a domain and you can visit that domain. So after it sets up, we will essentially set it up, and we will use CI/CD, which is Codepipeline, to Codepipeline to deploy our changes directly to Elastic Beanstalk. So whenever we push the code, it will automatically deploy, and it will just you can see the changes over here. So it's pending. Let's wait for it. I will resume back when it's done. Alright guys, if you can see over here, the application is deployed. If you click on this, you can see Elastic Beanstalk. Reload as much as possible. You can see this is how it looks like. Okay, now comes the exciting part, which is what this video is about. So let's go to Codepipeline, and let's create our Codepipeline. Alright, so let's create Codepipeline, and let's name this pipeline as, so think of it, so AWS Codepipeline is responsible for taking your code from somewhere to your your destination. So it's like a pipeline, as the name says. Okay, so now, so if you can see, let me give the pipeline name as I don't know, Express App Dev. Yeah, you don't have to do advanced settings. Just press next. Source provider in my case would be GitHub version 2. You can choose anything that you want. So I've already connected so it's pretty much obvious. You have to connect your GitHub, and you can click connect on GitHub, and it will just ask you for the ID password, and it will automatically list all of your repositories. So in our case, our repository name is Node.js Express EV. So let me write Node.js Express EV, and we have to choose the branch name. The branch name is main, and start pipeline and source change. And the build provider, we don't need a build stage because we're not using TypeScript. If you're using TypeScript, you need to add a build stage and compile that to JavaScript, and then move the user to the next page. Anyway, so press next. What's happening? Skip build still. I don't need skip build. And where you want to deploy? Since we have created this elastic beanstalk, so if you have created ECS, you can use ECS. So you can use ECS like you see over here. But in my case, I've deployed to elastic beanstalk, right? So I'll choose elastic beanstalk. We just need to choose the region, and then application name is express application express application example, which is what the example name is. Yeah, application name. So if you see application name is this. Yeah, so if you can move forward, and environment name is this, press next, et voila, it's all done. You just have to press create pipeline, and when you create pipeline, I'm not sure if it will pass, but it should pass. But if it misses any permissions or something like that, let's try to debug. Anyways, like I said, if you want a complete course on you know AWS, you can join my community. It's just $2 per month. You can get the discount link from my description. You can support me all you want. Okay, so if you see yeah, just release change again. Yeah, then it should essentially work. Or just push the code again. There you go, it succeeded, and it will deploy. Sometimes it's most likely to fail most of the time because of some other reason, because of Nginx or something like that, or perhaps our server is not running on a correct port. I'll show you how to debug that, so don't worry on that part. I'm here to help you guys out. And if you guys are having any doubts at all, you can join my community, you can join my Discord server and ask me any questions that you want. I will definitely help you guys out on each and everything. All right. So it might take 5 minutes or something like that. So I am gonna pause the video, and I will be right back once it's done. So if you guys can see over here, the deployment failed, and when you click on this part, it will tell you the reason why it failed. So aborting operation, command failed, return output code 1, engine execution has encountered an error. Input for see more details for EB engine log. Instance deployment failed to generate. Provide one of these files. So we don't have a server.js, app.js. So I'll tell you one thing about Elastic Beanstalk is that for Elastic Beanstalk we do not have any the way that Elastic Beanstalk starts the server is by using npm server.js or app.js. So what we'll do is that from what I see, from what the error is telling us, we just need to change this to app.js and change this thing to app.js. All right, and add a start script if you want to, and write node app.js. So do npm start. So if I do npm start, it should start the server. All right, so I'm gonna add this, and let's push this code. Changed package JSON file and renamed the file. All right, keep your commits as meaningful as possible. All right, so it should essentially, when you're pushing the code, it should essentially, if you see, it succeeded, and now it's deploying. And again, I'm gonna pause the video, and you guys can move forward until this thing is done. All right, cool. Congratulations guys, if you can see, the deployment has succeeded. If you click on the Elastic Beanstalk and click on this, you'll see this application. The health is in severe state, but it's telling it's 502 bad gateway. So I mean, there are multiple reasons for it, but let's check what's the actual issue. So if you see, it's actually connected to our server, the host is this. Let me just open it up on a Google Chrome, and then I can just essentially show you what is the problem. Just reload the page, click on all. It's returning 502, and if you see the port remote address is running on 80 server. If you click on this, and if you are gonna change this, it's loading, so it might be an Nginx thing. So Nginx by default runs on port 8080 server. So let's try to change it to first. Let's try to change the port to 880, since instance is also running on that port. So when you choose 80, or you can just give Elastic Beanstalk EB extensions, and then essentially you can set the port, like port of Nginx. So it's pretty obvious if you know how Nginx works. It's a reverse proxy thing, so it will essentially set things up. Yeah, cool. So let's wait for it to deploy on Elastic Beanstalk. Let's wait for the Codepipeline to actually put the code in Elastic Beanstalk. Till then, I'm gonna pause the video and you can resume back once it's done. And the reason that I am showing you this part, like me figuring out what is the issue while deploying it, wow, it's done, is because I know, a lot of developers will face this problem. They really do not have any idea how to fix it. So if you see, it is also showing us the same problem. Like it is also giving us 502. We can there are multiple ways to debug this. So what we can do is that we can click on request logs. We can check last 100 lines and essentially see if our server has deployed properly or not. So if you see connection refused while connecting upstream, so this is our client, so this is our server. It's 172. How can we know that? So we know that by reloading this page 5266169. That should be our server. Oh, so that means this is a client. That means this is us. So now if you see, this client is trying to connect to 127.0.80.80. So it's trying to connect to 8080 port. So our main thing should be, and there's an error over here as well, permission denied. So we cannot run the server at port 80. So let me just change the server to port 8080 and press commit. So here you can, in the logs, like I told you, we can get all of the information. And the reason that I'm doing this is to show you how initially developers are not able to figure out the problem. So that is the reason I am making this mistake and trying to show you guys how to fix it. Anyways, then yeah, we have to wait again. Yeah, essentially just have to wait for 2 minutes. And yeah, please subscribe to my channel if you feel like. And at voila, it's done. I don't know how, but it's working fine now. I think it actually deployed. I think it's showing that it's in progress, but if you reload this page, it is deployed. So if I just go to close this part and click on Elastic Beanstalk, there you go. Voila. So this was the whole setup. And let me tell you, there are documents and blogs where it will tell you, essentially, if you want to run your port on a, if you want to run your application on a different port, then all you need to do is just give some Nginx configuration, and then Nginx will forward your request to that particular code. And know that you cannot go below 80 port. Those are all system ports. Essentially your OS won't allow that. So if you still want to do it, just write sudo in the beginning, and then essentially it should be possible. But don't. Why do you want to do that? Are you dumb or something like that? No, don't do that. So yeah, anyways, So like I said, this is deployed. Congratulations. So I have showed you how to set up your code pipeline to everything, right from the basics. So thank you for watching this video, and please do consider subscribing to my server, I mean my community on nas.io/superprogrammers community. You will be getting a discount. You will definitely get a discount in the description. Thank you for watching. See you all guys in the next video, and let me know what else do you want on AWS. I am a AWS pro, and if you want a whole course on AWS, you can join my community. So see you guys. Till then, goodbye and take care.